begin. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya
Narayanam Namaskritya
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswati Vyasam
Ato Jayam Mudirayet
Tato Jayam Mudirayet
Srinvatam Swakatah Krishna
Sarvatam Shvakata Krishna
Punyashravana Kirtana
Punyashravana Kirtana
Hridyantasto hi abhadrani
Ridyantasto hi Bhadrani
Vidhunoti Sahritsatam
Vidhunoti Shukatsatam
Ashtaprayeshva Bhadreshu
Nashtaprayeshu
Nashtaprayeshu
Bhadreshu
Abhadreshu
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya
Sevaya
Bhagavati Uttama Shloke
Bhagavate
Bhagavati
Uttama
Uttama
Shloke
Shloke
Bhaktir Bhavati Nayishtiki
Bhaktir
Bhaktir Bhavati
Bhavati
Naistaki
Naistaki
Krishnaya Vasudevaya
Krishnaya
Krishnaya
Vasudevaya
Vasudevaya
Devaki Nandanaya Cha
Devaki
Devaki
Nandanaya
Nandanaya
cha
cha
Nanda Gopakumaraya
Nanda Gopa
Nandagopakumaraya
Kumaraya
Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Govindaya Namo
Namo
Namaha
Namaha.
Mukam karoti vachalam pangum langayate girim yatkrapatamaham vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. Yeah. So this chapter is how Parīkṣit Maharaj received the age of Kali. So we'll summarize at the end from the PowerPoint. Let's discuss the verses. Suta Uvacha
Suto Vacha
Vacha
Tata Parīkṣit Vijavaryat Sikshaya
Tatha Parikshit
Parikshit Vijaya
Vijavarya Sikshya
Vijaya
Mahi Mahabhagavata Sashasaha
Mahim Mahabhagavata
Mahabhagavata
Sahasa
Sasha Sashaha
Yatahi Sutyam Abhijata Kovida
Yatahi
Ahi
Sutyam
Suttam
Abhijanta
Abhijata
Kovida
Kovida
Samadishan Vipramahadgunastata.
Samadishan
Sandhita
Vipramahadguna
Mahagunas
Tata.
Tatha.
Please read.
Suta Goswami said, O learned Brahmanas, Maharaja Parikshit then began to rule over the world as a great devotee of the Lord under the instructions of the best of the twice-born Brahmanas. He ruled by those great qualities which were foretold by expert astrologers at the time of his birth.
So people have this understanding that monarchy is not very good. But there was monarchy in the past, but the monarchy is not like a autocratic singular ruler with doing whatever he likes to do. It was always under the guidance of pure Brahmanas, twice born, means pure Brahmanas who have no selfish motives except for the welfare of state. So the king seeking the welfare of the state, and the Brahmanas, advisors, who are pure in their actions and thoughts, they together were always working towards the welfare of the entire citizenry. It's not just human beings. When they take care of the state, it is also the taking care of all the animals and everybody. They are ruler for everybody, trees, everything. So that is, and being guided by brahmanas and being guided by scriptures, the king would rule. So naturally, the king would perform yajnas, and there is timely rain, and everything would be perfectly in line because the king was a pious king. So he ruled by those great qualities which were foretold by expert astrologers at the time of his birth. So at the time of birth itself, it was predicted about the qualities of Maharaj Parīkṣit as a great ruler, as a great devotee. And he is actually exhibiting all those qualities as through his actions as he now becomes the king. Yeah, continue, Prabhu, here.
The real qualification is to become a devotee of the Lord, and gradually all the good qualities worthy of possession develop. Maharaja Parīkṣit was a Mahabhagavata, or a first-class devotee, who was not only well-versed in the science of devotion, but also be able to convert others to become devotees by his transcendental instructions.
So the real qualification, why Parīkṣit Maharaj was such a great king? The real qualification was that he is a great devotee of the Lord. That was so naturally, when you become a devotee, you get all the good qualities of even demigods, even better than the demigods actually. So there is a Bhagavatam verse for that in 5th canto. So Yashasti bhaktir bhagavatya kinchana sarvai gunastatra samasate sura harau abhaktasya kuto mahadguna manoratena sati dhavato bahi. Very beautiful verse. So what does it say? All the demigods and their exalted qualities, such as religion, knowledge, and renunciation, become manifest in the body of one who has developed unalloyed devotion for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vasudeva. On the other hand, a person devoid of devotional service and engaged in material activities has no good qualities. All good qualities in the devotee and no good qualities in a person who doesn't have devotion service. Even if he is adept at the practice of mystic yoga or the honest endeavor of maintaining his family and relatives, he must be driven by his own mental speculations. Manorathena. It's mentioned here, right? Manorathena satidhavato bahi. Why? What is the problem with anybody else who doesn't have devotion service? He is riding on the chariot of mind. Mind is not a friend for most of the people in this world. If you are not a devotee, your mind is not controlled, and your life is running on the chariot of mind, which is taking you in every direction. So naturally, so one whose mind is not conquered, he is never a good person. You cannot trust him. You cannot trust a person whose mind is not controlled. So he must be driven by his own mental speculations and must engage in the service of Lord's external energy. If you don't engage in Lord's direct service, then you must be engaged in Lord's external energy service. That is the only way out. You cannot be in between. So if you are not a devotee, you are on the platform of mind, and you must be engaged in the service of Lord's Maya. How can there be any good qualities in such a man? So this is objectively proving a person cannot be pure or cannot have good qualities if one is not a devotee, because his mind is not surrendered to Krishna. His mind is running.
Skipping is skipping.
Yeah. Okay, so let's read the next verse. Yeah, okay, continue, Prabhu, here. This is also a very good point. Kaustubh Prabhu. Oh, you are muted. Everyone
Sure.
is.
Yeah, sorry. Kings like Maharaja Parīkṣit had their council of advisors, and all the members of that council were either great sages or brahmanas of the first order. They did not accept any salary, nor had they any necessity for such salaries. The state would get the best advice without expenditure. They were themselves Samadarshi, equal to everyone, both man and animal. They would not advise the king to give protection to man and instruct him to kill the poor animals.
They're always Samadarshi, equal to every living entity, not just human beings. So such, harmony would exist between the king. So king would also highly regard brahmanas as his superiors, and he would not do any action without their guidance. So always guided by them, and always taking care of them with the highest respect. Savattarasya tanayam
Sautarasya
Uttarasya
Tanayam.
vayema iravatim
Iravatim.
janame jayadhims chaturas
Janame
Chaturas
Jayaturas.
tashyam utpadayat sutan.
Tasyam
Utpadayat
Utpadayat Sutam.
Please read.
King Parīkṣit married the daughter of King Uttara and begot 4 sons, beheaded by Maharaja Janmejaya.
Janamejaya.
Janmejaya.
Yeah. So King Parīkṣit married the daughter of King Uttara. So he is the son of woman Uttara, but he married the daughter of King Uttara. Another king was there, Uttara. So he was, Uttara was related to Drupada in a different, Virata. Sorry, Virata, not Drupada. So Maharaj Uttara was the son of Virata and maternal uncle of Maharaj Parīkṣit. So he is different. So King Uttara is different. See, we got 4 sons, and Janmejaya is the eldest one. So Prabhupada explains the story of Maharaj Janmejaya, the next descendant of Maharaj Parīkṣit. So the whole history is mentioned here. He has 2 sons, Gnanatika and Shankukarna, and how he ruled, all of that is, very briefly mentioned here. Ajahaswamedham strin
Ajaharasvamedam strin
Gangayam bhuri dakshinan
Gangayam Bhuri Dakshinam.
Sharadvatam gurum kritva
Sarasvatam
Vayatrakshi gochara.
Devayatrakshi Gochara.
Please read.
Translation. Maharaj Parīkṣit, after having selected Krupacharya for guidance as his spiritual master, performed 3 horse sacrifices on the banks of the Ganges. These were executed with sufficient rewards for the attendants, and at these sacrifices, even the common man could see demigods.
So Maharaj Parīkṣit, so the thing is, always the kings would accept a spiritual master. So that is the most interesting point here. They are never on their own. They do not act as a ruler without having a guide. The Brahmanas are the overall guide in the rulership, but he himself is surrendered to someone. So that is, in this case, Kripacharya. Not only Maharaj Parīkṣit, even Yudhishthira Maharaj and all his previous rulers, or his line, always accepted. Even Lord Krishna, when he was here, he accepted Sandipana Muni as his spiritual master. So that is the way of Vedic life, where the king would always would have a spiritual master. So he, under his guidance, Kripacharya's guidance, performed 3 horse sacrifices, Ashwamedha Yajnas, on the banks of Ganges. And so in these yajnas, even demigods would come. Demigods, even common man can see and witness the presence of demigods. The demigods won't attend every other sacrifice that is performed. However, they would attend important functions like that of Maharaj Parīkṣit, pious devotee and king. Yeah, continue, Mataji, here.
Herein also we find that during the time of the horse sacrifice ceremony of Maharaj Parīkṣit, the demigods from other planets were visible even to the common man due to the sacrificial ceremony. The demigods are not generally visible to common men, as the Lord is not visible. But as the Lord, by his causeless mercy, descends to be visible to the common man, similarly the demigods also become visible to the common man by their own grace. Although celestial beings are not visible to the naked eyes of the inhabitants of this earth, it was due to the influence of Maharaj Parīkṣit that the demigods also agreed to be visible.
Because they are all very obliged to Parīkṣit. That is the reason they made themselves visible even to the people of the kingdom. So, please continue.
Even for a king like Maharaj Parīkṣit, there was a need of a spiritual master for guidance. Without such guidance, one cannot make progress in spiritual life. The spiritual master must be bona fide, and one who wants to have self-realization must approach and take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master to achieve real success.
Spiritual master must be bona fide, and one who wants to have self-realization must approach and take shelter of a bona fide spiritual master to achieve real success. So it's a guidance for everyone. Nijagraha jasa vira.
Nijagraha
jasa viraha.
Kalim vijaya kvachet.
Kalim Digvijaya Kvachit.
Kripalinga dharam sudram.
Kripalinga dharam sudram.
Gantam go mitunam pada.
Gantam go mitunam pada.
Translation between Vijay Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So once when Maharaj Parīkṣit was on his way to conquer the world, he saw the master of Kali Yuga, who was lower than a Sudra, disguised as a king and hurting the legs of a cow and bull. The king at once caught hold of him to deal sufficient punishment.
Maharaj Parīkṣit was on his way to conquer the world. When he says conquer the world, it is not just a like a egoistic act of trying to conquer the people of the world. It is about supervising and making sure everybody is following religious everybody is following proper religious standards. As a pure devotee, as in charge of the Lord, he felt that was his duty, and so making sure everyone in his kingdom, he's the emperor, and he's just making sure all the kings are also obliged to Lord equally. And So he found, Kali Yuga disguised as king entered, and the Kali Yuga is actually trying to hurt cow, cutting its legs. So immediately he could not tolerate it. So he wanted to punish him immediately. Yeah.
The purpose of kings going out to conquer the world is not for self-aggrandizement. Maharaj Parīkṣit went out to conquer the world after his ascendance to the throne, but this was not for the purpose of aggression on the other states. He was the emperor of the world, and all the small states were already under his regime. His purpose in going out was to see how things were going on in terms of godly state.
It is like a teacher sometimes going around to see that the students are, doing the right things, right practice, to help them, not to conquer them or not to punish them.
The king cannot tolerate insult to the most important animal, the cow, nor can he tolerate disrespect for the most important man, the Brahmana. Human civilization means to advance the cause of Brahmanical culture, and to maintain it, cow protection is essential.
So in the Vedic culture, two living entities have a very critical role. Brahmanas, to maintain Vedic culture or Brahmanical culture, so that they act as the bridge between God and earthly planets, to connect spiritually every living entity on the earth. Brahmanas are needed. Brahmajanati ti Brahmana, one who understands the purpose of life, and one who is connected to the Supreme, that is called a Brahmana, not by caste. It's not about caste. It's about one who connects to Lord. And a Brahmana is needed. And to maintain Brahmanical culture, we also need cow, because cow gives ghee, which is needed for the yajna, performance of yajna, which is part of Brahmanical culture. So cow is a very important animal because it gives milk, which is used in the yajnas, and so cow helps in maintaining Brahmanical culture and Brahmana themselves. So they are two important living entities that have to be protected by a king at all cost. So that's what Maharaj Parīkṣit is trying to do here. He wants to punish the person who is trying to hurt the cows. So can you read this one line, bro?
Yes, Prajit. The age of Kali means mismanagement and quarrel. And the root cause of all mismanagement and quarrel is that worthless men with the mode of lower class men, who have no higher ambition in life, come to the helm of the state management. Such men at the post of a king are sure to first hurt the cow and the Brahmanical culture, thereby pushing all society towards hell.
This is what we see in today's political leaders. So they have no higher ambition in life. Higher ambition means spiritual goals. You don't see any politician talk about their spiritual goals. They become the leaders, and naturally they don't care about Brahmanas. They don't care. So many slaughterhouses are there today. Why? Because there is no real care for Vedic culture in India or elsewhere. Shaunaka Uvacha
Shaunaka Uvacha
Shaunaka
Kashya Hetor Nijagraha
Kasya Hetur
Kasya hetur
Jagraha
nijagraha
Kalim Digvijaye Nripa
Kalim
Kalim
Digvijaye
Digvijaye
Nripa
Nripa
Videva Chinhadrit Sudra
Hrideva
Deva Chihnidrik
Sudra
Sudra
Kasaugam Yah Padahanat
Kasogam Yap Padahana
Tatkatyatam Mahabhaga
Tatkatyaham Mahabhaga
Yadi Krishna Kadashrayam
Yadi Krishna Kadashrayam
So far, there were, Suta Goswami briefly described the activities of King Parīkṣit. Now, at this point, he mentioned about Parīkṣit Maharaj, trying to fight against this Kali that entered in his kingdom. Immediately, Saunikadi rishis wanted to know about this, but they wanted to know only Yadi Krishna Katha means only if it is related to Krishna. If whatever you are describing, if it is related to Krishna, describe it. Otherwise, it's okay. You can skip this. So their focus is always Krishna. In everything they hear, they want to hear things connected to Krishna. Yeah, please read. Anyone?
Shaunaka Rishi inquired, why did Maharaja Parīkṣit simply punish him, since he was the lowest of the Shudras, having dressed as a king and having struck a cow on the legs? Please describe all these incidents if they relate to the topics of Lord Krishna.
So he is asking, why did he punish him? Was it because that person tried to, attack the cow on the leg? But only describe if it is related to the topics of Krishna, because they are single-mindedly focused on Krishna. So that is a devotee. So here are some beautiful verses. These are all Shaunika Rishi speaks these verses. Couple of verses. Let's read this. Atavasya padam bhoja
Atavasya
Padam Bhoja
Karanda liham satam
Makaranda
Makarandaliham Satam
Satam
Manyair ashadala alapair
Kim
Kimanyayir Asat
Alapai
ayusho yad ashad vyaya.
Ayisho Yad Asadhyaya.
The devotees of the Lord are accustomed to licking up the honey available from the lotus feet of the Lord. What is the use of topics which simply waste one's valuable life? Lord Krishna and his devotees are both on the transcendental plane. Therefore, the topics of Lord Krishna and of his pure devotees are equally good. The battle of Kurukshetra is full of politics and diplomacy. But because the topics are related with Lord Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita is therefore adored all over the world.
So unless the topics are related to Krishna, there is no real benefit to anybody who hears it, any topic. Because the devotees are singularly focused on Krishna. They are accustomed to licking the honey available from the lotus feet of Krishna. Atayasya padam bhoja. Ambuja means lotus feet. Lord's feet is considered lotus because it is Golok Vrindavan is a lotus. The whole planet is like lotus. And because Lord's feet is always on that lotus, even when he descends to the material world, wherever that whole land is like lotus. And because his feet is also extremely beautiful, it is always compared with lotus. And the devotees, the pure devotees, they are like always accustomed to licking the nectar flowing from the lotus feet of the Lord. Makaranda liham satam. Satam means pure devotees. What are they doing? They are always hearing about the pastimes of Lord, and they are transcendentally satatam. What is it? What is the first word? Satatam kirtayanto mam bhajante dridavratah. Right? So they're always trying to remember Krishna's pastimes and discussing various activities of Lord. So that is their real joy. They are not interested in any other topics. Kimanyair ashada alapair. Why? What is the use of anything else? It's just waste of time. Aisho yad ashad vyayaha. Vyayaha means waste. Your lifetime is wasted in hearing anything else other than the pastimes of Krishna. So that's what, only if this Kali's pastime, Kali being killed by Parīkṣit Maharaj, is anywhere related to Krishna, please share with us. Otherwise, we are not interested.
Our duration of life is not very long, and there is no certainty of when we shall be ordered to leave everything for the next stage. Thus, it's our duty to see that not a moment of our life is wasted in the topics which are not related with Lord Krishna. Any topic, however pleasant, is not worth hearing if it is devoid of its relation to Krishna. The spiritual planet, Goloka, Vrindavana, the eternal abode of Lord Krishna, is shaped like the world of a lotus flower. Even when the Lord descends to any one of the mundane planets, he does so by manifesting his own abode as it is. Thus, his feet remain always on the same big world of the lotus flower. His feet are also as beautiful as the lotus flower. Therefore, it is said that Lord Krishna has lotus feet.
This is explanation for
those who want to live forever without changing their material bodies should not waste valuable time with topics other than those relating to Lord Krishna and his devotees.
When his devotees, the great devotees, the pastimes of great devotees are also equally worthy. Like who? Like Prahalad Maharaj, like Dhruv Maharaj, great devotees. They're all worth hearing. Kshudrayusham rinam anga.
Kshudrayusham nrunamanga
Yanamritamatchatam.
Matyanamritavichatam
Ihopahuto Bhagavan.
Ihopahuto Bhagavan
Yuttu samitra karmani.
Mrityusamritarmani.
Please read.
O Sutta Goswami, there are those amongst men who desire freedom from death and get eternal life. They escape the slaughtering process by calling the controller of death Yamaraja.
So those who are interested in conquering the repeated cycle of birth and death, they who want to escape, everybody in this world are stuck in this mrityu samirta karmani. So whoever want to conquer death, they actually invite Yamaraj, who is the predominant deity for death, who actually kills everybody, who controls death of every living entity here, because he is a great devotee and he is interested in pastime. So if you bring him and sit along and hear with him the pastimes of Lord, death will not come to you because you are friend of the controller of death. Yeah. So by calling, so Yamaraj is a great devotee, so he will be very happy to accompany you, to join you if you invite him for any satsang. He'll be very happy. And when he is there, where is the fear of death for you? So those who want to conquer the death, they invite the controller of death to the process of hearing. Continue.
What to speak of stopping death? No one can enhance the short period of life even by a fraction of a moment. The only hope of suspending the cruel slaughtering process of Yamaraja is to call him to hear and chant the holy name of the Lord. Yamaraja is a great devotee of the Lord and he likes to be invited to the kirtanas. and sacrifices by the pure devotees who are constantly engaged in the devotional service of the Lord.
So in the 6th canto, there is a vivid description about the pastime of Ajamila, where Yamaraj instructs all his servants never ever go to the place near a person who is chanting the name of Hari. Never ever. So, and he is a pure devotee of the Lord. By the way, he is one of the greatest ever existing devotees of Lord. Yamaraj is seen as fearful only for those who are non-devotees. But for the devotees, he is actually a good friend and an associate, because he himself is Mahajan. Mahajan means one who knows the one who has a very clear understanding of Krishna. Mahajan.
One of the 12 Mahajanas.
Yeah, one of the 12 Mahajanas. Yeah. So, so to conquer death, if you want to get out of the cycle of birth and death, you actually follow the instruction of Yamaraj. And what does he say to his Yamadutas? In fact, he glorifies the chanting of the holy name as the highest perfection, as the highest process for achieving perfection. In the 6th canto, he describes in so many. So the process that we are following has been vetted and certified by the conqueror, or the Lord of Death, Yamaraj. If you want to conquer death, he says the process is the chanting of the holy name. So who else you want to hear from more than him, right? So know that what we have been given by Srila Prabhupada is the best. It was vetted by greatest devotees, Prahlad Maharaj, Yamaraj, Bhishma Pitama, Lord Shiva. So, if anybody confuses you, there is other process, this and that, why not try this? Today I was, one Mataji was mentioning that somebody told her, she's relatively new, and somebody told her, Hare Krishnas are brainwashing. I told, what does Krishna say in Bhagavad Gita? Satatam kirtayanto ma, always remember me, always glorify me. That is the way of perfection. And we are not doing anything different than that. And now we are just hearing what is Yamara saying. If you want to get out of death, that's what is the instruction of Yamaras, to chant the holy name of the Lord. So our process is vetted by the greatest authorities of religion. So you never ever doubt whether this process works, because we have such historical support.
Prabhuji, when I was in Bangalore, there was one senior disciple. So when he was giving a lecture, he told the same thing, that somebody approached him and told that you Hare Krishnas, you are there to brainwash people.
Yeah.
So he told that yes, you are correct. We are the brainwashers, because we wash the brain so nicely that we completely purify you from all the anarthas what you have done from many ages. So that is the beauty. Why don't you come and wash your brain?
Yeah. Even Prabhupada was asked the same thing. Prabhupada laughed like this and told, yeah, because your minds are filled with so much dirt, it is better to clean it. So
yes, bro.
It's actually a good thing. He didn't say, oh, we don't brainwash, we do, because your mind is, contaminated with so much dirt. Yeah, it is the right way of cleaning. If your mind is, filled with so much dirt, and your whole life is filled with so much anxiety and fear, driven by, no purpose of life. Yeah, it is better to clean it up and put a clear goal, light up Krishna in your mind, which is dark. That is going to clean it. And It's going to be a better place and you will be happy.
Correct, Prabhu.
Yeah. Yeah. Nakaschinmriyate tavat
न कश्चिन् म्रियते तावद्
yavat astaihankata etat artham hi bhagavan
एतदर्थहि भगवान्
ahuta paramashibe
आहुता
Paramasridhi.
aho niloke piyeta
अहो
Ahonriloke piyeta
halileelamritam vacha
harileelamritam vacha
harileelamritam vacha, nectar of eternal life. So Krishna's pastimes are nectar. Yeah, please read.
As long as Yamaraja, who causes everyone's death, is present here, no one shall meet with death. The great sages have invited the controller of death, Yamaraja, who is the representative of the Lord. Living beings who are under his grip should take advantage by hearing the deathless nectar in the form of this narration of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord.
Living beings who are under the grip, under his grip, means anybody in the material world, everyone from top planet to the lowest planet, everybody is under the grip of Yamaraj. And Yamaraj is a great devotee. And because he is a great devotee, Lord put him in charge of this particular duty of punishing the materialistic people, right? If he is not a pure devotee, he might relish the joy in punishing people. But because he is a pure devotee, he does not have any relish for the suffering of the conditioned living entities. And hence Lord has kept him, because Lord doesn't want to keep the unqualified people in such an important position. So he kept his one of the best devotee, Yamaraj, as that in charge of controller of death, as the controller of death, because he is the most compassionate person. Externally he may appear like a punisher, but he is doing it as a service to Krishna only. He's not like taking a lot of joy in punishing people for their wrongdoings. He's actually just ordaining his duty as the servant of the Lord. So living entities who are under the grip of Yamaraj should take advantage by hearing the deathless nectar in the form of this narration of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord. So Lord's pastimes, activities, they're all transcendental. They're not material. Divyam, right? Janma karma chame divyam evam yo vetti tattvataha taktva deham punarjanma naiti mameti so Arjuna. So my janma and my karma, my activities and my birth, both of them are transcendental. One who understands this fact will not have to take another birth in the material world, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So that is what is confirmed here. The narrations of Lord's pastime, Hari Leela Amrita, is should be aho nileka piyeta. Niloka means people of the material world. Piyeta means just here, drink the nectar. Hari Leela Amrita. Hari's Leela are like Amrita, just drink it like nectar. And then get relieved. So that nectar will give deathlessness. So that's why it's called deathless nectar here. By hearing the deathless nectar in the form of his narrations. Yeah.
The surest remedy for avoiding death is to accustom oneself to hearing the nectarian pastimes of the Lord as they are systematically narrated in the text of Srimad Bhagavatam.
You should continuously hear pastimes of Srimad Bhagavatam. Mandasya manda prajnasya
Mandasya manda pragnasya.
Vayo mandayushascha vai.
Vayo
Vayo
Shasavai.
Nidraya hriyate naktam.
Nidraya
Yate
Vacha vyartha karma bhi.
Diva
Divakarmabhi.
Yeah.
Lazy human beings with paltry intelligence and a short duration of life pass the night sleeping and the day performing activities that are for naught.
So people with lazy mandasya, manda pragnasya means their intelligence is also very low. Lazy human beings with paltry intelligence and a short duration of life. Vayo mandasya means their life is also short. Pass their duration of life and night sleeping and day performing activities that are so they just live like they just daytime working hard to make money and nighttime just sleeping, and there is no spiritual progress at all. They don't chant, they don't hear, they don't associate with devotees, so their lifetime is just wasted, right? So there is this beautiful verse, Srotavyadini Rajendra Ninam Shanti Sahasrasa Apasyatam Atmatattvam Griheshu Grihamedhinam. Those persons who are materially engrossed, being blind to the knowledge of ultimate truth, have many subject matters for hearing in human society. So they are, in the material world, there are too many topics at any time, right? If you open YouTube, sometimes you are looking for something, but then you get lost and you keep browsing forever, and by the time you realize it's already like 1 hour spent. Has it happened to anyone? Anybody here? It happened to me.
Right, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Try for
Whom
something.
does it not
Yes,
happen?
Prabhuji.
Huh?
Whom does it not happen?
Yeah.
That's what it does.
something, and just like you got to Costco with something very clear in your mind, but then at the beginning itself they keep something on the display that is very, very attractive, and then your attention goes there. You go there, and your wife or your husband asks you to get something, and instead of once Madhachandra Prabhu told us that he went to Costco and he has a purpose to go and get that I think soap or something, washing soap, and he was lost, and he got so many other things, but not the the one that he was asked to. So that is how material world works.
That happens every time, Prabhuji. every week.
Yeah,
It happened to Krishna Murli Prabhu also once, Prabhu. He went to buy sugar and he forgot the sugar actually.
so distracted. Middle world is like that. It's always very distracted. So we have to be very careful. There was one lecture by His Grace Radhesham Prabhu today I was hearing about managing distraction in the material world. I'll share that. It's a very, very insightful lecture. I don't want to go into details, but it is worthy hearing. I'll share it in the class. Yeah.
That is what usually it's called, Prabhu, like monetization of attention, right? Especially all the social media apps, like
Okay.
they are all free, but they are eating away your time actually.
Consciousness, yeah.
Yes.
Earlier, people had that actually reduces our attention span completely. So
Correct.
people were watching YouTube for 20 minutes, 30-minute videos. Now their attention span is so low that TikTok came and the videos are like 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and you keep browsing. Your mind is so they're just playing with your mind. They'll put small advertisements, and within that they will catch your attention for a short duration. So the people's attention is reducing at a rapid rate.
In social media world as well, Prabhuji, they say that the video should not be more than 30 seconds. Otherwise, the advertisers cannot convey the message. People are so quick in moving on from one video to the other.
That's true. Impression count. Yeah, please read this. Very powerful statement. Who is reading? Muted.
Okay, I will read, Prabhuji. Sense enjoyment is also allowed to the lower animals by the law of nature, and thus a human being is also destined to a certain amount of sense enjoyment according to his past or present life. But one should definitely try to understand that sense enjoyment is not the ultimate goal of human life. Herein, it is said that during the daytime, one works for nothing because the aim is nothing but sense enjoyment. We can particularly observe how the human being is engaged for nothing in the great cities and industrial towns. There are so many things manufactured by human energy, but they are all meant for sense enjoyment and not for the getting out of the material bondage. And after the working hard during the daytime, a tired man either sleeping or engaging in the sex habits at night. That is the program of materialistic civilized for the less intelligent. Therefore, they are designed herein as a lazy, unfortunate, and short-lived.
Yep. So this is what goes on in the material world. Why all these comforts? Only to sleep lazily and lazy, make us more and more lazy and short-lived and just be stuck in the material existence. No, none of the products created actually relieve anyone from material bondage. Suta Uvacha.
Suta Uvacha.
Yada Parīkṣit Kurujangale Vasat.
Yada Parīkṣit Kurujangale Vasat.
Kalim Pravistam Nija Chakravartite.
Kalim
Pravishtam Nija Chakravartite.
Nishamyavartam Anati Priyam Tata.
Nishamyavartam Ati Priyam Tataha.
Sarasanam Yuga Saundari Adade.
Sarasanam Yuga Saundradade.
Suta Goswami said, while Maharaj Parīkṣit was residing in the capital of the Kuru Empire, the symptoms of the age of Kali began to infiltrate within the jurisdiction of his state. When he learned about this, he did not think the matter very palatable. This did, however, give him a chance to fight. He took up his bow and arrows and prepared himself for military activities.
So Kali, age of Kali, it's time of age of Kali. So it's inevitable that it will conquer the whole world. It's not like Parīkṣit Maharaj can defend the material process from happening. He cannot, but he will do his attempt. While he is still alive, he want to take care of the people and want to make sure they are not influenced by the age of Kali. Right? And also, being a Kshatriya, it was an opportunity to fight. Kshatriya would always get excited for opportunities to fight. That is their nature. And so he was getting himself ready for the fight with Kali, for the right cause, age of Kali. Prabhupada explains here what what are the symptoms of Kali and all. So please read.
The state administration of Maharaj Parīkṣit was so perfect that he was sitting in his capital peacefully. But he got the news that the symptoms of the age of Kali had already infiltrated into the jurisdiction of his state, and he did not like this news. What are the symptoms of the age of Kali? They are illicit connection with women, indulgence in meat eating, intoxication, and taking pleasure in gambling.
So these are the symptoms. And so these symptoms started during Maharaj Parikshit's time. He was hearing about people doing these activities. And so he wanted to act, and so one may ask, why anyway Kali Yuga is starting, so what is the point in trying to stop it? So Prabhupada says, even now, right, why should you follow all these principles? Somebody may ask you. So Prabhupada answered this. Prabhupada, anyway, this is Kali and these are all symptoms of Kali, how can we avoid it? Somebody asked. So Prabhupada said, suppose there is going to be heavy rain and it's pouring. Will you not take an umbrella to stop it? At least to protect yourself. It is exactly the same. Even though it is unstoppable, the rain is not stoppable, but you can protect yourself from the influence of rain. We know rain is not good if it falls on your head. So you protect yourself. That's what we are trying to do here. It's not that we can stop Kali. We'll try in our best. If you can, at least protect your family, your friends, your relations, whatnot. If you can, try to do it. If not, just protect yourself. That is the main thing. Just because it's rain is there, it doesn't mean you just go without an umbrella. You try to protect yourself. So like that. So we'll stop here. Covered 10 verses today. So that's up to here we covered. So we covered 2 subsections of this chapter. One is, Suta Goswami describing Parīkṣit as the ideal ruler and one who punishes Kali. Saunikādi Rishi's questions related to Parīkṣit Maharaj's activities about killing the animals. Is it really worth hearing? Only talk about this if it is related to Krishna in one way or the other. Otherwise, we are not interested, because devotees are interested in hearing the deathless narrations of Krishna Kathamrita, to which even they can invite Yamaraj, the controller of death. Yeah, so this is the pastimes of Parīkṣit were given. He performed 3 horse sacrifices. He married the daughter of Uttara. We got 4 sons. The first son's name is Janamejaya. And he was ready to chastise Kali in the dress of a lower man, king. Here you see the picture here, Kali. Then Parīkṣit, why Parīkṣit simply punish Kali? Describe all instances. So these are the questions of Saunika Rishi to Suta Goswami. And he described his intention to hear Krishna's pastime, because devotees are only interested in hearing anything if it is related to Krishna. Yeah, so we are here. We just started this section, but we'll continue next week. Hearing about the effects of Kali, Parīkṣit took up his bow and arrow to conquer all directions. So we'll hear about the activities of Parīkṣit Maharaj in the next week and how he attacked Kali. Okay. Any questions?